Chapter 16. They stay by the fire. Deep into the night, Stan whispers to Dostoevsky. "Mr. Dostoevsky, I think I need the toilet." "You think you need the toilet?" he replies. "I mean, I do need the toilet." "The boy needs the toilet," Dostoevsky calls. "The lavatory," comes another voice. "The kazi," the thunderbox. "The loo," the netty, the bog. Stan feels his face burning. "Where is it?" he whispers. "It's out there in the dark," says Dostoevsky. "If it's a number 2, go downwind and dig a ditch." He touches Stan's arm gently. "It's okay. There'll be a proper place tomorrow. Go to the edge of the field. We'll keep an eye out for you coming back." Laughter follows Stan as he stands up and leaves. He shuffles away from the fire. He stumbles over car tracks and holes and tussocks of grass. He smells potatoes and beer and pies and horse dung and wood smoke and pipe smoke. A little dog sniffs at his heels. A couple of scrawny half-naked kids call out to him. "Who are you? What's your name?" "Stan," says Stan. "And what you doing here?" "I'm with the hook-a-duck stall," answers Stan, and he surprises himself by feeling a little flicker of pride. "Ah," say the kids, impressed. Stan goes beyond the fires to the deeper dark at the edge of the field. "I said we'd meet again," comes a gentle voice. Stan turns. A woman standing there, wearing a long dress and a headscarf. Her face shines in the light of the moon. "Gypsy Rose," she says. "Remember?" "Yes," says Stan. "I said that you would travel. Remember?" "Yes," says Stan. "And you must have done so, for here you are, so far away." "I remember that your name is Stan." She moves closer. She holds his chin, gently turning his face towards the moon. "Let me look into your eyes. Ah, yes, I see that you are still entranced. And I see that you have become dejected, as I said you would." Stan can't move. He doesn't know whether to run, to call out, or just to stay where he is. "Don't worry, Stan," murmurs Gypsy Rose. "I'm no danger to you. Do you have silver with which to cross my palm?" "I've got nothing," he says. "Nothing? That's not quite true, is it, Stan? You have yourself. You have your good heart. Always remember that. Now, let us say that the moonlight is your silver." She opens her hand and lets the moonlight fall across her palm. "Thank you for it, Stan. Now, open your own hand and let me look into it." She takes his hand and opens it and lets the moonlight fall on it. He looks down at the lines and the tiny creases and cracks and bulges there. "Moonlight is the best of all," says Gypsy Rose. "It gives the purest, most truth-telling light." She traces the lines on his palm with her fingertip. "Oh, Stanley," she murmurs, "there have already been disastrous moments in your short life, but you will live long, and better times will come if you can overcome the perils that lie in wait." "Perils?" whispers Stan. "What is the purpose of living if there are no perils to be encountered and overcome?" She smiles. Stan can't answer her. "I see water," she continues. "I see great peril there." She leans closer. "But you must be brave. You must say yes. Much gold could be yours. Do not be troubled by the teeth." "Troubled by the—" "I don't know what that means, but I do know that you left someone behind, Stan." "Yes, my aunt and uncle, Annie and Ernie. Can you see what is happening to them?" Gypsy Rose shakes her head. "No, but perhaps your heart and the moon will draw them to you." "The moon?" "The moon is filled with the yearning of human hearts, Stan. Have you noticed how it burns brightest when we ache with longing?" Stan has no answer. "Is it true?" He gazes now up into the moon and thinks of his absent aunt and uncle. And yes, its light does seem to intensify. "Annie and Ernie look upon the same moon as you, Stan," says Gypsy Rose. "Do they have good hearts too?" "Yes," says Stan. Then he thinks of Ernie and the tin of goldfish, and he turns his eyes towards the earth. But they have made mistakes. Yes, as we all do. If their hearts are good and true, the light of the moon that is filled with your yearning will draw them to you. Now, you are on an errand, I believe. Stan gulps. I need to pee, he whispers. Then go, says Gypsy Rose. Look, there are some shadows beneath those old trees there. Stan turns from her. He slips into the shadows under the trees and pees into the silvery dark. When he returns, she's gone, and the dark shape of Dostoevsky is moving through the field, calling his name. Chapter 17. That night, when they return to the caravan at last, Stan lies on a bench beneath a blanket with the 13th fish and its companions at his side. The moon shines through the little caravan window, and he gazes up and senses yearning through the night. Then he sleeps, and in his dreams angry policemen shine torches into his eyes and warn him that he'd better be good. A glowing fire rises from the earth and turns into the moon. Voices drone and whisper and laugh and sing. He sees giants and dwarfs and three-headed sheep. A strong man lifts him up, throws him into the sky and catches him as he falls. A man with a tiger on his back chases him into a forest. Ducks spin in circles round his head. He finds himself deep in water, swimming, and there's a fin on his back. My companions, he cries. Oh, where are my companions? He sees Annie and Ernie walking along the road beside the sea. They look ancient and wizened and worn. He calls to them, he reaches out to them, and then comes a voice from far, far away. Come on, up! 6 o'clock and time to start. Stan leaps from his sleep. Is he back in Fish Key Lane? Is the fish canning about to begin? No, he's in the caravan. The voice is Dostoevsky's. It's 6 o'clock, Stan. There's a hook-a-duck stall to put up. It's time to start.
Chapter 18. It's easy to assemble a hook and duck stall, especially one that's been assembled so many times in so many places for so many years. Stan sets to work with Dostoevsky. Bolt the wooden boards together, hoist a few poles for the canopy, sling the canopy over the top, tie down the canopy with a few ropes, stand back, admire, read the scarlet lettering. The famous Dostoevsky's hook-a-duck, a prize every time. Then get the plastic pool for the plastic ducks and place it at the centre. Stan enjoys it once he gets going, just like he always enjoys himself when he's hard at work. He runs back and forth to a tap at the edge of the field. He collects water in a bucket and fills up the pool. As he runs, he finds he already has friends, people who call out his name and wave. All around, stalls and sideshows are being set up. The sun shines down. The fair grows by the hour. There are merry-go-rounds with teacups for the little ones. There are dodgems and a carousel. There's a haunted house, a ghost train, Dracula's castle. There are shooting galleries and coconut shies. There are hot dogs and chips and burgers and sides of beef and legs of pork. Stan sees Gypsy Rose's caravan with a little pony tethered near it, and more caravans with gypsy names painted on the sides. He fills up the pool. He cleans the ducks. He sets them on the water. He gets the rods and hooks and lays them out ready for customers. He takes goldfish from the tank and puts them in plastic bags with plenty of water. As he hangs them up above the stall, he whispers that he'll make sure they go to good homes. He doesn't lift out the 13th fish, of course. It swims elegantly through the tank, whispering farewell to its companions. Dostoevsky applauds when it's all done. He sees Natasha peeping out from the caravan window and points to Stan like he's really proud of him. Natasha scowls. Yeah, you're a natural, Stan, he says. It's like you were born for it. Stan finds some paper and a pen. He sits on the grass and carefully makes some certificates. He uses his best handwriting. I hereby promise that I will take good care of this lovely little fish. I will give it fresh water and food and love. Signed, Date. Natasha comes out of the caravan. She's bleary-eyed and wearing a dirty old nightie. What's this? She says. She picks up one of the certificates. She reads it and snorts. Love, she says. Love? Huh? Do you think they'll take any notice of this once they're out of your sight? Yes, says Stan. They have to promise. She snorts again. Promise? Take no notice, Stan, says Dostoevsky. He contemplates his daughter and shakes his head. She used to be a lovely lass. Used to be? Used to be, echoes Natasha. But that, says Dostoevsky, was in the time of Mrs. Dostoevsky. Natasha glares. She stamps back to the caravan, goes inside, slams the door. Mrs. Dostoevsky, says Stan. Aye, says Dostoevsky, me wife, Natasha's mother. She went to Siberia with a troupe of ballerinas. She never came back. The caravan door swings open. Natasha leans out. She said she'd take me with her. If you must know, she snaps. She glares at Stan. Well, what do you think of that? I don't know, says Stan. Then she said I hadn't practiced enough. So what did she do? She went off to Siberia? Asked Stan. Yes, she went off to Siberia. Natasha slams the door again. Siberia? Asked Stan. More than a year ago, says Dostoevsky. The door swings open. I hope she's stuck in a snowdrift, yells Natasha. I hope she's turned to ice. The door slams shut. To be honest, Stan, admits Dostoevsky, I think Mrs. Dostoevsky was a bit disappointed in me. She had dreams and ambitions, and I don't really think the hooker duck was good enough for her. Anyway, Natasha's not been the same since. The door swings open again. Natasha stamps towards Stan. This is a picture of her, if you must see. Stan takes the photograph. It shows a slender woman with flowing hair in a flowing dress leaping through the air. She looks lovely, he says. Lovely, snorts Natasha. She snatches the photograph from him. Here, she says. Give it back before you ruin it. She stamps back to the caravan and slams the door. Dostoevsky shrugs. The door swings open once more. She was lovely, yells Natasha. Then the door slams shut again. Stan feels a tug at his arm. A little boy is standing there. Can I try to hook a duck, please, mister? He asks. She was, yells Natasha from behind the closed door. Chapter 19. Stan loves that first hook-a-duck morning. It's all so different from the crazy crowded house in Fishkey Lane. Little groups and families make their way across the field, between the rides and stalls. Music belts out from the waltzer. They're screaming from the roller coaster that thunders across the sky. The little boy's the first of many that come to the stall. Stan wears a money belt round his waist. Soon there are lots of notes zipped into it, and it's heavy with coins. Stan helps the kids with the rods and hooks. Once or twice he has to guide their hand as they sign their certificates. He looks into their eyes. He asks them to promise that they really will take care of the fish. Only one person objects, the dad of a little girl dressed in red and green. The girl lifts a duck from the pool. She squeaks with delight. Stan lifts down the little fish and asks her to sign, please. Sign what? Says the bloke. A certificate, says Stan. The man and his daughter read it. The girl reaches for a pencil, but the man twists his face. Don't do it, he says. But she's got to, says Stan. Says who? Says the bloke. Me, says Stan. And why? Because Stan starts trembling. The bloke's got a thick neck with a silver chain around it. Love and hate are tattooed on his knuckles. He's got big glaring eyes that stare at Stan. He's got big strong fingers that poke Stan in the chest. He's got a deep surly voice that snarls. We don't sign now unless we got to. But, says Stan, are you suggesting, snarls the bloke, that me and my Minnie might be cruel? No, says Stan, but good, says Minnie's dad. So give her the fish. Dostoevsky's leaning against the caravan, watching. He doesn't move. Stan looks at him, then back at the bloke. He holds the plastic bag with the fish in it. The bloke looms over him. Stan's hardly as high as the man's chest. Give her the fish. Stan takes a deep breath. He holds the bag up. The fish swims in lovely little circles and figures of 8. It's just, says the bloke, a stupid fish. What's so special about a stupid fish? It's so little, says Stan. Oh, poor ickle fish. It's so little and we are so big, says Stan. It's so easy to hurt. The bloke sighs. He curses. Stan holds the fish higher. Sunlight pours into the little plastic bag and the fish glitters and glows. Minnie steps closer. Just look how lovely it is, Stan tells her. Minnie stares like she's seeing a fish for the first time. Look at the scales, says Stan. Look at the feathery fins and tail. Look how it curves and curls through the water. Look at its shining eyes. It's beautiful, says Minnie in wonder. Look, Dad, it's like it's saying, ooh, and it's so little and so delicate and even the man, listening to his daughter and staring into the plastic bag, seems to be entranced, if only for a split second. It's lovely, says Minnie. Let's just sign, Dad, and take it home. The man curses under his breath. He sighs. Okay, he grunts at last. Okay, just get it signed and let's move on. Minnie signs the certificate. Minnie. She smiles at Stan. Stan smiles back. Thank you very much, he says. Do come back and try your luck again. Minnie walks away happily with her dad, whispering to her fish. Well done, says Dostoevsky, coming over. Your very first awkward customer. You dealt with it very well. You'll come across 1,000,000 more. He rubs his hands. He reaches into Stan's money belt and starts to count the notes and coins. You're doing great. You're a natural, like I said. More customers come. Soon there's only one fish left hanging on the stall in its plastic bag, and only a couple left swimming in the tank with the 13th fish. Stan's sad that so many are gone, but he's pleased as well. He's been hatching what he thinks is the perfect plan. Mr. Dostoevsky, he says. Aye, lad? I was thinking, now that all the fish are nearly gone. Aye, lad? Well, I thought maybe we could offer different kinds of prizes. Different prizes? Yes, like cuddly toys or bags of sweets. Or cuddly toys or bags of sweets, says Dostoevsky. He looks at Stan in astonishment and shakes his head. You really have got a lot to learn. It's tradition, lad. You hook a plastic duck at Dostoevsky's and you get a fish. It's how it is, and it's how it's been, and it's how it always will be. But Mr. Dostoevsky, there's hardly any fish left. So we get some more. Stan holds up his hands. But where from, Mr. Dostoevsky? From the goldfish supplier. Stan looks blank. What goldfish supplier, he asks. Dear, dear, dear. From the goldfish supplier at the fair. Stan just stares at him. Listen, Stan, every fair has a goldfish supplier. Where else do you think all the goldfish come from? Thin air? I don't know, admits Stan. Exactly. You got a lot to learn. But I suppose that's how it has to be. Dosky takes Stan's money belt from him and gives Stan a handful of coins. Find the supplier and buy me some more fish. Stan looks across the crowded field. Where is the supplier, he says. Ain't got a clue. Somewhere. Finding him will be part of your training. And how many should I get? Asks Stan. Half a shawl. Half a shawl? But how many's in a shawl? How should I know? Seems to depend on how the fish is feeling on the day. There's tiny shoals and medium-sized shoals and shoals as big as the sea. Tell him you're buying for Dostoevsky and the supplier will help you out. How much do I pay? Dostoevsky shrugs. Same thing. Tell him they're for Dostoevsky and you'll get a proper price. He puts his hands on his hips. That's enough questions, lad. Go on, off you go. You won't give the 13th fish away, says Stan. No, Stan. You promise? You want me to sign a certificate? Stan shakes his head. Go on then, says Dostoevsky. Okay, says Stan. He turns away. Cuddly toys, mutters Dostoevsky. Bags of bloomin' sweets.